So just, Hey everyone, my name is Kati. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Plastic Cracked, where you and I will look over everything that we found out at the flea markets, yard sales, and auctions this weekend. So the sales have been hit or miss a lot lately, and I think most of that is due to the weather. I think 2 weeks straight on the weekends we had rain, it was freezing cold and windy, and just like complete disaster for a flea market. But finally the weather is starting to perk up a little bit, and we have been taking every chance that we could to get out there and do some searching, and I think we found some, you know, interesting little pieces here and there. So I'm going to show you what we found this last weekend, starting off with one of my favorites. So this is Kimberly. She is the Pink Ranger from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This is the original run. First season of MMPR was about 94, I believe, 93 or 94. And I really like this. She's, for something that's 23 years old, I think she's personally in pretty great shape if you take a look. You know, she's a little dirty on like her fingertips here, anywhere where there's a little bit of white. There's a little bit of seam rippage right back here. But again, this doesn't look like she was a collector's piece. It doesn't look like somebody bought her and put her on a shelf. This was most likely some little girls that she had in her doll collection. But for that, I'd say pretty good shape. I really like the fact that even though it's a plush, her arms are articulated. So you can pose her at least at her arms, which I think is pretty neat. I love Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I grew up on Power Rangers, and I always wanted to be Kimberly and date Tommy. So she's actually going up on my personal shelf. I don't know if I have any of my Power Rangers stuff up on this backdrop here. No, it'll have to go in the other room. But yeah, she is a keeper. That's kind of the danger you run into sometimes when you go to flea markets, is that, you know, we buy, we resell, but we keep a lot too. I'm slowly losing the rooms at my house to the collection. So she'll be part of it. So here's something else that we picked up. We've honestly never grabbed these or grabbed something like this at a flea market before. And to be completely honest with you, I did not recognize it at first. Obviously it's Xbox. I knew it was some sort of controller. I saw that it had Wi-Fi and that something plugged into it, but had to do a little bit of research to see that it's actually a piece that you add onto the Guitar Hero drum set to make the drum set wireless. So pretty cool. I never had Guitar Hero. I played Guitar Hero and had, you know, a lot of good nights drinking with a few pals, pretending like I was a rock star, but I never owned it for myself. So it's a little corroded, unfortunately, on the inside, but we can clean that up really easily. So just a little fun piece. Again, just like found this tossed on a table with a bunch of other random pieces. You don't always find, you know, a table full of just video game stuff or just figures. Sometimes you have to dig around a little bit, and this weekend was definitely a digging weekend. So recognize these little guys right away just because we have dealt with so much of this type lately. For some reason, Gundam, these little Gundam figures. I just thought they were adorable. I knew they were Gundam right away, like say because we've been finding a lot of it in our area. Now, I can't tell you what series this is from or what run it is, but like say, I do know it's Gundam. They've got a lot of little pieces here, a lot of little parts. I think they're just cute. You know, they're very like chibi Gundam. Like, look how adorable that is. I'm not even a Gundam fan. I don't dislike Gundam. I just didn't grow up into Gundam. But they're so cute that even I would want it. This is a really cute little piece for collectors out there who just want something to kind of fulfill their shelf space. Like, look at that. I think it's just the most adorable little thing. Those little cannon. So just thought these were cute. And the table that we found these at, the gentleman was really, really well priced. I guess he had previously been an eBay seller, or perhaps, you know, still is and just takes out his other stuff to the flea market. But his prices were so low, we could not buy a lot of stuff on his table. So I was happy to pick these up. I won't keep these, again, as cute as they are. I am not a huge personal fan of Gundam, so we'll just have to find them a little forever home. This next piece I am keeping. You'll hear that from me a lot. I love me some DC, and I love Batman. And I know a lot of people did not like, you know, the earlier like corner Batman movies. This mask is from '97, so, and it's that very fragile, like cheap plastic. Still has the elastic strap on the back, which is great. Stickers are inside. You know, it's cracked around the edges. I'm not surprised by that whatsoever. But, you know, '97, so I don't know if this was made based off of the likeness from Batman and Robin, which would have been George Clooney, I think. Doesn't necessarily look Clooney-esque to me, but it could just be the mask itself. Like, say, I know a lot of people didn't like those movies. They thought they were campy and corny, but I loved them. Like, I absolutely love those movies. You know, I'm all for, like, The Dark Knight, obviously, but it's a completely different feeling. I can just sit down with, like, a bag of popcorn and watch, you know, Batman and Robin, Batman Returns, and I adore them. They're like classic movies. So he will be going on my DC shelf. I already have a Harley shelf that is on its way to being set up, but I'm gonna need a lot more bookshelves, so we'll see what happens. Okay, next little guy. So sometimes when we're out at the flea markets or yard sales, you know, doing what we do, going to the conventions and meeting people and getting to know everyone, we'll find something for a friend that we know that they would really like, and we pick it up for them. We have people who do the same thing for us. They might know I'm a huge Harley fan, and if they see a Harley figure that I'd like, they grab it for us. Or Ninja Turtles, you know. So Brandon actually snagged this piece off of the same gentleman's table. This is the 6-armed Spider-Man from the animated series. And we just happen to know someone who loves to collect just the 6-armed Spider-Man figures. So most likely we will just talk to him and either give this to him, or sometimes, you know, we trade it for different pieces. Like maybe he has something that we'd like. So he's missing one of his little pincers here, but that's fine. We've had this character before with no pincers. So actually still really cool. Kind of creeps me out because for anyone who doesn't know, I hate spiders. Love Spider-Man, hate spiders. And this figure is a little too spider for me. So I will gladly allow him to find a new home with our friend. Okay, what else do we have? We have this little fella who I think is the cutest little thing ever. Okay. This is from Plants vs. Zombies. This is, I think they call him the engineer, or he's like an engineer. He only articulates at the neck, the arms, and the waist. But I think he's adorable. You could only get this figure actually in a pack, so you don't often find him like this out. We will be putting him up on the site because I don't have any particular interest in Plants vs. Zombies. I don't know if I've ever even really played it, so I think he's adorable. I get a little bit of plumber in the back. I think he's so cute. What is this? I can't see the date on it. It's kind of under his backpack here, but just a neat little piece. I like the little guy. And then we have our run-of-the-mill tiny pieces that we pick up. I always grab these. For those of you who know this about me, I really enjoy small things. I have a whole shelf of just tiny, like smaller figures, collectibles. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I'm a short girl. But I always pick these up. Anything that I don't keep, I just toss out on the table for someone to pick up. It's great for like the kids who come and their parents don't want to buy like a $40 figure. They just pick up one of these little guys. So I grabbed a few of them. A little C-3PO. He's so cute. Green Lantern. Have just the most doe-eyed Hulk I've ever seen. Spidey. Batman. And Robin. I don't know if I'll keep any of these. It depends on what I have. The only one I might keep is C-3PO because I know I don't have him yet. Everything else will probably go out to the table. So these are great. I think he charged me like $1 a piece for these, you know, and I'm always going to buy something that's $1. You can bet on that. Okay, so the 3 last things I have to show for you are probably my favorite pickup from that day. Here's the story. Brandon and I are walking by the table. And we're talking to the gentleman. We're buying a lot of this stuff. It's the same guy we got the Gundam and all these little minifigures from. And Brandon and the gentleman are speaking off to the side, and Brandon starts looking at something, and I hear the wife, it was a husband and wife team out there. I hear the wife say to her husband, hey, are you going to pull out those other, pieces in the back? And the husband's like, oh, I don't know. I was going to take those too. And I couldn't hear the rest. So Brandon and I bought our stuff and we started to walk away, and we got about 20 feet away. And I leaned over to Brandon and I said, just so you know, they have more. There's more in the back of their car. The husband doesn't know if he wants to get rid of it, but I heard the wife ask him about it. So Brandon circled back around, went back to the table while I continued to walk through the flea market, and he asked them, do you have anything else? Do you happen to have anything else? And the guy decided to show Brandon the pieces, and Brandon ultimately bought them. So I think that's something important to realize when you're out at the flea market. Always ask, always keep your ears open, keep your eyes open. What may seem, like worthless to somebody could actually be a really great figure, or maybe it's somebody who specializes in glassware and they've happened to find a couple video games and they have no idea what they're holding on to, and they've just tossed it in the back of their truck. So always ask, and always, So we actually picked up 4 pieces by going back to that table. He pulled one piece out after the other. Brandon took a look at them and ended up offering him a deal for all 4. So the first was this little killer Croc. I mean, not a particularly special item here. Just a little Mattel figure by DC. I just think he's neat. He would, make a fun little toy for somebody. I think he's cool. And then I admit, when I first saw this, I was like, what is this piece of shit? Like, I looked in the bag like, what is this toy? Obviously I knew who it was. I knew it was Killer Croc, but I'm like, please tell me we didn't go back to the table for this. But it wasn't. It was just he happened to have this in the back of his car with everything. And it's still, you're going to get at least 10 or 15 bucks for it. So I like it, it's okay, I guess, for somebody. I'm not a huge Killer Croc fan myself, but everybody needs a little bit of love. So that aside, I'm just showing you this because he was part of this 4 item deal. So Killer Croc. Then really cool was Venom. Like, I love these figures. This is from the Marvel Diamond Select collection. They're not necessarily expensive. They really don't have that many points of articulation. It's not like the Legends where every freaking thing, moves. You have a little bit of like an ankle joint and a knee joint, thigh. It's enough articulation for me because honestly, as a collector, I'm not going to be sitting there playing with my toys. It's not like I'm 7 anymore and I'm not going to have fights with my pieces. I'm going to pose them and then they're just going to sit on my shelf. It's what I've always said about the McFarlane line, because those figures are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I think we picked up Spawn while we were out there, actually, if I can get that. And I think those are gorgeous, but they're just not that much of a hot commodity, I think, because you can't do anything with them. So here's the Spawn figure that we picked up, and I'm getting off track here. This has nothing to do with the deal. But, it's a really cool mold. They have beautiful detailing, and this is one of the more simple McFarlane Spawn pieces. Sometimes you get really insane craftsmanship on these, and they're gorgeous figures, but I think they're just really underrated because you pose them and they sit. But honestly, that's exactly what I want. I just want something that's going to sit on my shelf and look damn good. So, back to what I was talking about before I got sidetracked. Diamond Marvel Select. This is the Eddie Brock Venom. And, it's not complete. Obviously, we're missing pieces. This is all there was. It didn't come with its stand. But I really love this, that you can pop off. Ooh, I'm always afraid I'm going to break things because I have a habit of breaking the toys that we get. So, oh my gosh. I did this right beforehand and it was way easier. Oh, there you go. So you can actually take this piece off and just have Eddie here as Venom. I think it's really neat. I love that you can add this piece. There's a whole other section that should come with it, but this is all he had. But like, how awesome is that? Like, if you're a Venom fan, like, you can't go wrong with this. So in addition to Venom, I was really excited about this one. We also picked up in that lot Anti-Venom. Like, I really love this. I love the base that it comes on. Again, this is exactly what I want in a figure. I don't want a figure that has 10,000 points of articulation. I don't need all of that. This is great. I can pose him just enough. You know, there is some mobility here where I can get some different stances. These little spikes are sharp as heck. I just think it's really badass. Like, I like that. I'm not even necessarily an, anti-Venom, huge fan. Like, oh, I have to collect everything anti-Venom. But this is a really neat piece that I would not mind having on the Spider-Man shelf. So, really glad to get that. And last but not least, the fourth piece in that lot that we picked up is this big boy Juggernaut. It is so heavy. Like, I don't even, actually, can we weigh this? Let's weigh this because it's really heavy. Like, I love the detail still. He's so bulky. Again, not a tremendous amount of articulation, but enough for me. You have your normal ankle, thigh, knee, arms. I want to take the helmet off so bad, but it doesn't come off. There is a version where the helmet comes off, but it's not the Diamond Select version. So I think this is really cool. I'm going to weigh it. Let's see how much this weighs. This figure weighs 2 pounds, 5 ounces. Now, I know you're probably saying, like, oh, 2 pounds isn't that much, but, like, for a figure, that is tremendous as compared to this little guy. He weighs 3 ounces. 3 ounces, 2 pounds. This is a heavy ass, like, this is a serious figure. So again, I think he's really cool. Any fans of Juggernaut out there, I think would really get a kick out of this. Another really fantastic shelf item. So yeah, again, you got the little killer Croc fella, Venom, anti-Venom, beep boop, and Juggernaut. And we were able to get all four of those for $25. So we really felt like that was a fair price. It was a good price for us. We felt comfortable with that. So we picked it up, and I was really, really glad that we ended up going back to that table. So that's all I have for you guys for now. We have plenty of other stuff to go through, but that will be in other videos so that I don't overwhelm you with too many awesome things at once. Let me know what you guys thought. Was there anything I showed you today that you thought was particularly cool, or anything that you've been looking for? I love hearing about everyone's collections. What are you guys finding out at the flea markets? Are you having any luck, or are you hitting a dry spell? Let me know. So as always, make sure you comment, like, follow, so I can get more of these videos out to you. You know, you can always follow me on my Facebook or my Instagrams, and as always, those links will be in the description below. So check back in later this week. We have some really exciting things to show you, and I can't wait. So thanks for stopping by, watching this episode of Plastic Cracked, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. You think that would be good?
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
Real sexy.